on the heels of the short I just made for the week of August 18th through the 24th, this week, where I spoke about my personal manifestation challenge for the week being, I called it fake it till you make it because that's what came to mind, but really it's about being present and diverting and reframing, shifting my perspective, catching myself in each moment, just for this week, one day at a time, because I am living with a sense of impossibly unbearing, crushing stress of knowing that I'm almost at the end of my rope. So, in my attempt to divert my attention from that, because falling into that space is only accelerating it, and if it is so that I'm at the end of my rope, well then let me salvage these last few moments. So I thought it would be cool to make a mini meditation each week. Maybe this can be another thing in my attempt at whatever it is I'm trying to do to stay connected and to lift myself up from the place I am. So if you'll take a few minutes and do this with me, maybe it will make you feel, it will help you feel a sense of all is well in the present, which is the focus of this meditation that popped into my mind as I was just washing my breakfast dishes. So let's start with one deep breath, because this is a mini meditation that you can squeeze in to any point of your day, throughout the day, anytime you remember it, anytime you have a moment to yourself, because done is better than making a big production out of it. All right, deep breath in, sensing the beingness of being rooted in this present moment. And with the out breath, letting go of everything else, just for this moment. And as we are rooted in this moment, giving ourselves permission to be in this moment fully and with our whole being, just for now, we notice that in this moment, no matter what else is the truth about our lives and what's going on in the world, in this moment, right here, right now, all is well. In this tiny slice between the worlds, all is well. And that feels so good. We can allow it to saturate our minds, our hearts, our beings. Our heart already knows that this is the truth. All is well in this moment. And then it becomes a beautiful bead of crystalline light with shimmering rainbow specks. This moment of all is well. And each time we do this mini meditation throughout our day, whenever we think of it, we create another crystalline bead of light, and we string it onto a cord of living light, where these beads of all is well in the moment continue to grow, even if they're not strung consecutively, even if they are interrupted with moments where we feel that all is definitely not well. It's okay. We can come back to the moment whenever we feel able to, and even when we feel unable to, we can take that moment as a gift to ourselves and breathe. Just one deep breath in, out, and create another beautiful crystalline bead of shimmery rainbow light, of the knowing that all is well in this moment, right here, right now, regardless of anything else. And as these beads grow on the cord of living light that we are stringing, their isness grows, their reality grows. The reality that all is well grows more powerful, more dominant, more our default mode. It may take a while, but it takes a while to create a necklace of strung beads. String each bead with grace for yourself, allowing yourself to have these teeny tiny moments of all is well. And as you do, and as the beads grow, they become entangled, and it becomes more true in your everyday reality that all is well more often than it isn't. Until all is well so much more than not. Until all is well even when it would seem to others that it is definitely not. You know that all is well, because that all is well feeling comes from deep within you. You've incorporated it as you've strung these beads together, and they've connected, and they've become a powerful truth for you. And you remember that no matter what is going on, in the moment, you can take refuge in the sense that all is well, and a moment can be stretched as much as you allow it to be, because time is a construct. And who's to say how much or how long a moment lasts? Our entire lifetime can actually be a blip of a moment in reality. So each moment can actually contain the seeds of an entire lifetime. And as we string these beads of all is well, our default reality is being recreated where all is truly well. All is truly well. All is always and truly well. And so it is. And we give thanks to the cosmos that knows that time is a construct and we are always in the moment and all is always well. Another breath in, feeling all is well, and out. And letting go of any doubt that we are experiencing truth in our all is well moments. Open your eyes. And how do you feel? I feel better. Maybe that was a little bit scattered. It's my first meditation attempt. My first guided meditation attempt, I should say. I've been meditating my whole life, not consistently, but right now I'm feeling really relaxed, and certainly that needs to be tweaked, but you get the idea of where I was going with it. I was just winging it as I went along. I am not practiced in doing guided meditations, so I ask you to overlook anything that may have seemed wonky and replace it with what feels good for you. The main thing to remember is that we're stringing these beautiful all is well moments together where they add up, even if they are non-consecutive, even if for a while they're very few and far between. But as we maintain this practice of stringing the beautiful crystalline beads of light onto the living cord of light, that becomes like an anchor for us. Just when we picture it, either wearing it as a necklace or wrapping it around our wrists or making a crown out of it. All of these beautiful all is well moments. And it feels wonderful. And it's a little respite for now until it becomes a real living default reality of our existence, where all is well more often than not. And I want to say that the all is well thing has stuck with me ever since I read this book a long time ago about a saint, a Catholic saint. And I'm not religious in that way, though I'm not. Her name is Julian of Norwich. I don't know if she actually existed or not, but it stayed with me. She was a cloistered nun. I forget what order she was in. Julian of Norwich. Julian of Norwich. And her cell, they called your little, your little room as a cloistered sister, a cell, was below ground level, I guess, because there was a window that looked, and I may be conflating it with something else, but I think I'm remembering it properly, where she looked out into the passersby, into the street, and the passersby, and they came to stop and talk to her. They knew she was there. I guess she got to interacting with people, and it became a thing to go to her. And she would offer up comfort, saying that all is well. All is well. All manner of thing is well. Those were her words. And they just seemed so beautiful, and they stuck with me, just like the term that many people associate with Sex and the City, Mandela effect or not. And just like that. For me, there are certain phrases that bring me an instant sense of comfort. All is well. All is well. All manner of thing is well. Just does something for me. I guess because I was in what I consider my grace period when I read about her and many other saints. One day I'll talk about my grace period. It was a time in my life that I have no explanations for, but it was real. And there's really no words to describe the presence I was in for quite some time. Until I wasn't. But while I was, it was just a space of pure love. And I couldn't believe that every morning when I opened my eyes, I was still in that space. I've never had anything like that before or after. It was in the context of a bigger scenario. There were things that led to that moment, to the moment that actually was the starting point that opened that up like a cone of light. I could never have anticipated it, but certain actions I took were very instrumental in it coming about. I want to get back to that point, but it's not something you can do intellectually. I did not do it intellectually. It came after a period of about 2 to 3 years of immense despair and a sense of hopelessness. And then the decision that I needed to snap out of it. And then quickly things started to present themselves, and I followed. That's the key. I followed without even thinking twice. The directions, the directives that I was receiving. And it didn't even feel like all that, it didn't even, it just felt like a natural. All I can say is that it seemed uh like this beautiful, like one of those beads that we're stringing on the necklace. Perfect. I'm glad I brought that up, because those crystalline beads of beautiful, scintillating rainbow light, and the way they come together, and the way their power grows, and the all is wellness stretches out. That time in my life represents exactly that. I have had the lived experience where the meditation I just tried to walk you through in a stumbly way is actually part of my lived experience, even though I am so far from where I was at that point. I have that in my experience memory banks, and I know that it is possible. I did not know how it was happening. I had no idea that it was going to happen. I just kept going with it. And that all is well moment stretched out and stretched out and stretched out. Each day was a bead, and the moment stretched out into a good, at least 7 months, maybe more. To this day, I don't know, that was a legitimate miracle in my life. And yet it wasn't, there were, like, miracles work through our taking action, even if it's through our decisions. It doesn't even have to be a physical action, but a decision, a mental, the intention. And I don't know, when they say that when the timing is everything, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. I really don't know how to explain it, because it was just more than, it was way beyond just a physical experience. It was a spiritual experience in every sense of the word. And it led to so many beautiful happenings during that time. I was immersed in a grace period, and that is my grace period. I mean, I hope that, I've always wanted to come back to that. Not in the same way, the way it played out for me, played out through my own then interpretations of what things meant, of what I had in my mind, subconscious, conscious. It worked with the knowledge I had available to me, as everything does with everyone. So the way I interpreted it and the way it played out took a certain direction, which was beautiful. However, there was something about this direction that I knew in my heart was not exactly, I don't want to say not right, because the not rightness part was just in my interpretation of the experience and what direction it should take, and where I was at the time. But that energy could have been manifested in any number of ways to encompass any number of belief systems. It could be taken as high as you allow yourself to take it. I'm being vague because I don't know how to explain these things, and I'm making this video longer than I intended to. So I will stop here, but it's really relevant that that came up in my mind because it matches the experience that I am trying to achieve with that meditation, which I intend to do throughout the week, and carry forward. And I remember that I actually had the lived experience of what this is a metaphor for. And I also acknowledge that it's up to us to use the energy, the openings that we receive, in the best way that we can muster, not trying to make them conform to just what we have available to us in the way of knowledge and experience at the time, but allowing ourselves to be cracked open so that more is available. And that is what was happening as I was realizing that the path that I was allowing it to, or I was allowing myself to be led through. And I don't mean to make that sound like an outward force was acting on me, but it was more a connection with something more that is us, and the way I was allowing it to move me. When I realized that the way I was it's as if we are conduits of the energy, and the forms that our belief systems take act as directors of that energy. And so the energy is confined to playing out by our concepts that we can grasp. But the energy has so much more it can take a multitude of shapes or forms. We can allow it to open us up. So as I was realizing that the form it was taking was too constricting for me, that was the energy showing me my limitations. And if I had allowed it to crack me open, I could have given it more, a larger pathway within which to work within me. And there's no limit to that. And I think that's really what is happening in every moment of our lives. It's just that we don't connect with it and we don't realize it. And with all of our worries and fears and programming and, belief systems that don't serve us, the more we insist that they need to be a part of our lives, the more we constrict that energy. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. I'm talking from the moment right now. I'm just like blah, like it's like that. But thank you for bearing with me, and I hope that I have said something that might have touched something within you, that gave you a bit of an aha, that helped you make a connection in your own life, that gave you a way to go forward if you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, hopeless. Yeah, I'm going to stop it here now. And I wish you all a beautiful day. And I would say, please hit the like button. You don't even have to subscribe, because I don't know what I'm doing with this channel at the moment, and I can't say that I'm going to offer you up content that you'll want to be present for each time, and subscribing and then not engaging actually screws up a channel. So don't even, unless you feel really resonant with me on some level. I'm not asking you to subscribe, but liking and commenting would sure help. And I would appreciate it. I have been, since April, trying to grow a community, and it's been a flop, but I'm going to continue until my last breath.